All right. Good evening, everybody. This is on?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So call to order. I am Chair Pro Tem Richard Turbin, and we are going to start the Neighborhood Board meeting for July 20th, 2023. And the first order of business is the election of officers to serve from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. And the officers are to be elected by roll call vote. And first the chair, then the vice chair, secretary and treasurer, and any other officer determined to be needed to conduct the board's business. So first I'll ask, are there any nominations for chair? Yes, Sylvia?
Rich Turbin for chair.
Okay, all right. Are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, I'll count to 3 or 5, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Okay, I guess without any other nominations,
I can actually do.
okay, let's do a roll call vote.
Hello? Okay. So this is a roll call vote for chair, for Rich Turbin to be chair. Member De Cavero.
Aye.
Okay. Member Dudgeon.
Aye.
Member Harrow.
Aye.
Okay. Member Himeda
Aye.
and member Turbin.
Aye.
Okay. Ayes have it. It's 5-0-0. So you are chair. And
All right, thank you very much. I'll try to do my best and at least get to the meetings 5 minutes before it starts. Okay, not at the last minute. Okay, so now we have the election of vice chair, one or more vice chairs. Are there any nominations for vice chair? Which is an important position because if the chair can't make it, which happens from time to time, we certainly need a vice chair. Are there any nominations?
We're allowed to nominate ourselves.
Sure.
I'd like to nominate myself then, Christian De Cavero for vice chair.
Okay, thank you, Christian. All right, are there any other nominations? Okay, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Okay, let's do a roll call then.
so this is a roll call vote for vice chair for Christian De Cavero. Member De Cavero.
Aye.
Member Dudgeon.
Aye.
Member Harrow.
Aye.
Member Himeda.
Aye.
And Chair Turbin.
Aye.
Okay, that's 5-0-0. Congratulations.
All right, congratulations.
Christian De Cavero is vice chair.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, the next position is for secretary. Are there any nominations for secretary? We're doing pretty good so far. Let's continue.
So the secretary's responsibility is just to look at the minutes if there's any grammatical errors, and just in case if chair or vice chair is not available to run the meeting, they would be the third one in charge. And that's pretty much your responsibilities, unless you want to run a committee, but.
Well, I'm not, pardon me? Do we have any members on Zoom?
No, we don't have anybody on Zoom at the moment.
Okay. Well, I'd nominate
On WebEx.
Sylvia, I mean, who's doing the minutes anyway.
I don't have a computer, so Lucinda suggested that I don't say that I want to be a secretary.
In that case, I'd like to nominate Brian Wong.
Oh, okay. So since Brian is not here, we can't nominate anybody that's not here. We can defer until he comes because I think he's like running about a few minutes late.
Yeah, 10
So-
minutes late, he said. So
All
we
right,
could
let's do-
postpone until then.
We can defer.
Okay, all right, we'll do that then. Okay, well, we'll hold that in abeyance. So now nomination for treasurer. Do we have any nominations for treasurer?
Responsibility of a treasurer is to make sure, currently, we don't have a budget, so you don't have to worry about the finances of the board because the mail outs for postage is required by the neighborhood commission's office to pay for that. But the treasurer is also gonna be in charge of maybe looking at things that we can do for outreach. Meaning that we still have the $1,000 available for the board to do outreach and they can either do the research as at the moment, but there are some other things that treasurers will probably do in the future.
Okay. Well, I remember, at some not too long distance in the past, we had a member named Peter Dudgeon, who was treasurer. Would it be out of place for me to nominate Peter Dudgeon to be treasurer? Okay, he did a good job in the past. Okay. All right, Eddie, all right. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Any other nominations? Okay, all right. So Madam, very competent assistant, why don't you do a roll call?
Okay, we're doing a roll call vote for treasurer for member Peter Dudgeons. Member De Quevedo,
Aye.
member Dudgeon,
Aye.
member Haro. Okay. Member Himeda
Aye.
and member Turbin.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5-0-0. Congratulations, member Dudgeons. You are the treasurer. Thank
All
you.
right, all right, that's awesome. Thank you. So I think we'll just hold the secretary position in abeyance and we'll move on. Madam Assistant, do we need to do the swearing in?
Yes, we can do the swearing in.
Okay, should we proceed to do that?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, so anybody that has not gone to the installation, could you raise your right hand? Okay, and repeat after me. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will faithfully support
that I will faithfully support
the Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the state of Hawaii,
of the state of Hawaii,
the charter and laws
the charter and laws
of the city and county of Honolulu,
of the city and county of Honolulu,
and the provisions
and the provisions
of the neighborhood plan,
of the neighborhood plan.
and I will conscientiously
And I will conscientiously
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
my duties
my duties
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
as a member
as a member
of the neighborhood board
of the neighborhood board
of which I have been elected.
of which I have been elected.
Congratulations.
Yay. I should have brought a bottle of champagne or 2 bottles of champagne to celebrate, but maybe it wouldn't have been such a good idea. We might have had, police officers, but, patrolling the parking lot. Sylvia, you raised your hand.
You're not supposed to drink in here or eat in here.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay. I will remember that. Okay. Okay, all right, beautiful. Well, I think that's terrific. It's the fastest elections I can ever remember of a neighborhood board. And, congratulations to all of us and congratulations to our officers. Thank you so much for being willing to, participate and lead. Very, very important. Okay, the next matter to discuss is the meeting date time and place, recess months, and rules of speaking. We don't have to decide all of that tonight, but it's probably a good idea to get a consensus. As the past chair, I did note that our participation, our membership, and attendance it definitely improved when we moved the time back to 7 o'clock, not 5:30 or 6. And also we got the benefit of this place, which seems to be pretty convenient. And, we have the audio visual all set up here. What do you think? Should we keep it?
I don't think that this is a great place at all. I think that our participation from the community is a lot less. And we need to look for something in our community, even if it's maybe one of Kawamoto's vacant pieces of land and put up a tent or, seriously, we're not as popular as we used to be.
Okay. Well, any hope for the Wesley Methodist Church, our old hangout?
What we can do is, anybody on the board can probably do research to see if they have any communications with any locations within our community and see if they are available for the time and place every month, and see if we can have a contract drawn with the commission's office. If everything goes well, then we can work on finding a new location within the community. Right now, this is the location that we have, but it can always change if we find a new location.
Mhm. Okay.
Brian Wong and I were talking earlier, and we discussed the possibility of perhaps moving to KCC, which would be dead center in our community, be excellently representative of what Kāhala has to offer, and would be much easier to attend to. And
Mhm.
I'm sure we could work out something quite advantage, maybe even at the new culinary school.
Oh,
So we
boy.
don't have to move too far to get some dinner afterwards. But I think KCC would be an excellent meeting place for both us and the community.
Mhm. Well, I think that's a sterling idea. Yeah, Sylvia, yes.
Another suggestion was to go to the district park, because that's part of the city anyway. And on 22nd Avenue, that it was something that we might be able to get done if it's part of the, the city and state. I mean, in terms of, that's something
Mhm.
that we could easily do.
Okay. Yes, please.
So what is it that we would be looking for as far as the requirements of a location that would work for
Mhm.
us?
So,
Go ahead, please.
is that all right? So what we'll be looking for is actually a location that can house us every month for the same time, same place, to have Wi-Fi access, possibly soundproof, and definitely Wi-Fi capability, and enough to hold at least 50 to 80 people if some people want to come in and testify through our board meetings. But somewhere that we can hold maybe like roughly about 50 to 70 people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
Weren't we in a Montessori school opposite Zippy's, which is close to dinner as well? And we certainly could never have put 80 people in there.
No, we've been there in the past and it's been really tight.
Yeah.
I recall. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I love the idea of KCC. Christian and Brian, do you want to work on that? That would be, do you want the mic?
No, that's a great idea, Rich. Like Christian mentioned, we had chatted a little bit about the location as it is in relation to our actual district, our area.
Right.
So we're looking at some area, some locales that are closer. We had of course, we had the churches before. We talked about KCC as an excellent venue. I also thought about the district park, which is also close to our district where it is.
Mhm.
I've also drawn out I was going to hand this out tonight,
Mhm.
a map of our area of our neighborhood board with possible locales, Wilson Elementary School, Wilson Community Park, Church of Jesus Christ. I don't know, it's a church, Star of the Seas school or church, Wai'alae, Kāhala, church and preschool, Kāhala Elementary School, Kāhala Community Park, all within our area. And I think the idea is to bring it closer so that we open the opportunity for our constituents, people in our community to attend, whether they can just walk over easily or it's easily from their house or just drive over. But to the point with the technology features that we need to accommodate the things that we do nowadays with the technology, and what we're doing exactly right now is reaching out, I think is important. So I can certainly work on that. I'm very interested in doing that, and working with Christian to help see if we can get another locale that's closer and see if it accommodates all the things that we need.
Yeah, now one problem I'll just mention, is, a legal problem. We were meeting for a while during COVID at Kaimuki Christian Church. And then that was suddenly vetoed because with the new mayor's administration, they required an indemnity agreement to be signed by, Kaimuki Christian Church. And, they did not want to agree to be in an indemnification position. And they asked the city to indemnify them. And the city refused. So all of a sudden, we were kind of checkmated. We were checkmated to go outside the community, because any place you go outside the community, such as Wesley Methodist School, they generally want the city to indemnify them if by chance there's any lawsuits against a venue, due to a meeting. Let's say residents start punching each other out, and, which sometimes happens at other neighborhood boards, never here. But, so that kind of stymied us, which is why we grabbed this place when it was offered, because we needed to meet someplace. So anyway, I just kind of throw that out. Now, KCC being a state institution, we probably won't have that problem, but with the church, we might get checkmated. What do you think, Judy Ann? Is that still the position of the city legal officers?
So yeah, the city and county, when we have to do contracts with every single location, and we have to have a certain amount of time, whether it's going to be 6 months or a year, we try and do the contract. There is a liability factor, of which the city and county will not budge on. So community places such as, municipal places such as this, the one on 21st Street, we can talk to, if you guys want to talk to KCC and see what we can negotiate with them. If there's a price that we can hopefully come to terms with and see what the contract is like, that can be an option. But what we can do for now is we can vote to still be here until we find that place, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
What are the other boards, what are their accommodations?
So right now, applications, there's a budget of every month how much we pay. All municipal locations are free. So
What other, like Hawaii Kai that you were talking about, where do they meet?
they meet at Hahaione Elementary, so they're way in their district on that side. Kuli'o Kalani'iki meets here, Wai'alae Kāhala meets here, Diamond Head meets here, Kaimuki meets at Kaimuki Library.
Meets here?
Yeah,
Well, that's not close.
yeah. But for now, because right now they're in the process of looking for locations, and when they decide what location they want to present to the neighborhood commission's office to see if we can negotiate contracts, that's what they're doing on the agenda every month. So, but until that time comes, they do meet here every month.
Yeah, so most of the neighborhood boards are in the same fix we are. The problem, I think, is the city had that policy of not signing any indemnification agreements in the past. Frankly, the city would, under other administrations. when we had Wesley Methodist, the fees were very light. I think it was like $30 a month, no big deal. And the city signed the indemnification agreement with Wesley Methodist Church, so we didn't have a problem. And then when COVID hit, and they kicked us out, when we had a problem. Then when the new administration took over, I know the financial officer just got serious, tough as nails, one signed any indemnification agreements. So that's why in our desperation, we moved here. No, I know.
I'm not criticizing
I
the
know you're
person who
not,
made
yeah.
this decision.
Yeah. But, but I'm thinking, well, maybe KCC is a possibility because it is, the state. So maybe the state and the city can work something out and we can do that. The other one, Sylvia, you mentioned 22nd Street? That's a city facility, so maybe that's a possibility. But if you folks can look into it, that would be great. It'd be wonderful to move into our district, move back to our district. Yeah.
What's the average monthly price that we pay out for the rental? of the
30
space?
bucks. I mean, in the Wesley Methodist Church was, I think, 30 bucks, as I
We
recall.
try and do it. We try and have it less than $100 a month,
Mhm.
a session. It depends on the school level too. So like Hahaione Elementary School, it's an elementary school, and so they only charge like $25. But when you go to Kaiser High School, they charge like over $300.
Mhm.
So it just depends, and you have to go through their system to see what the pricing is too. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. We had that one meeting, as you remember, in that cute city house on Montserrat, where it was a little bit crowded, but it was it wasn't bad, it was what's that?
I don't think I've ever been.
Oh, it's a beautiful old house. Yeah, so that's another possibility.
So Chair,
Okay,
should we call the question that we're gonna just meet here until we find another location?
probably, yeah. So
All right.
okay, so somebody want to call the question? We'll meet here while we look for another location. Okay, thank
Okay.
you, Brian.
Perfect.
Second. Okay, thank you, Christian. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, and we'll keep the time at 7 o'clock. It seems to be reasonable and it also forces us to move quickly, Yes, Sylvia?
Being here, does that work? Because the employee said that his boss told him that he only was here until 8:30.
Well, we've been they've been letting us go till 8:45, 8:50.
But if we start at 7, then we could go all the way till 9.
Yeah, but I
So-
think we should start at 7 because it just seems like all of a sudden, boom, we managed to get quorums when we started at 7. So earlier doesn't give people time to eat and get here. So I think we ought to, experience seems to indicate that 7's a good time,
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. But thank you all for trying it. It would be great if we could move back into the community.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, now I think, okay, let's go. I know,
It's recess.
yeah, okay, pardon me?
The recess months.
Oh, yeah, the recess months. So normally we do December and August. I guess we'll have have we already voted on the recess for August?
No,
Right.
but if you wanted to, now that you're chair for the new session, we can actually have December and August in initial convening be the recesses if that's what the board would like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay? We'll do it, December and August. We can always move it if we have a vote and move it if we want, but at the same time, we'll do December and August. Do we need a motion on that or?
If you want, yeah, a first motion, or motion and a second.
Okay, did anybody want to move recess for December and August? Sylvia?
I move that we have next month and December on vacation.
Okay, great. Okay, second. Okay, Peter seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Any negatives? Okay, all right, that's decided. Great. Okay, so now we do the monthly reports and are you okay Mr. Representative of the state? Yeah,
Can we?
okay. All right, well, first, we'll do the fire department first and the police department. That usually goes quick. Is that okay? Okay, then we can move right to you. Okay, we have the fire department ready to make a brief report.
Alrighty, aloha and good evening,
A
neighborhood.
little bit
board.
louder and introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Sure thing. Can you hear me?
Can we get the volume up a little bit?
I'll just speak a little bit louder. I
Can you
don't-
get the mic? Do you have a mic or?
No, sir, I don't. Can you guys hear me okay?
So if you don't mind, shout.
I'll just try to get as close as I can. But that's as good as it's gonna get. But anyways, my name is firefighter Bo Bourne. I'm with the Kaimuki Fire Station, station number 5.
good
So
now.
we're gonna go over last month's stats. So for June of 2023 fires, we had 1 structure fire, we had 1 brush fire, we had 1 nuisance fire, 0 cooking fires, and 7 activated alarm fires. We had 32 medical fires. 32 medical calls. We had 0 motor vehicle collision and pedestrians. We had 1 motor vehicle crash/collision. We had 0 mountain rescues. We had 3 ocean rescues and 0 hazardous materials incidents. Now for our safety tips. So this month, we're going to be talking about grilling safety as summer is here and upon us and July 4th and all that. So keep these tips in mind as you enjoy summer events and activities with family and friends, please. So always use barbecue grills outside, away from doors, windows, vents, and other building openings. Place the grill well away from the siding and deck railings, out from under the eaves and overhanging branches, according to the manufacturer's instructions. This one is for children and pets if you have them at home. You want to keep at least 3 feet away from cooking areas and keep starter fluid, lighters, and matches out of reach from the children. Cook with caution, guys. Be alert and stay at the grill while you're cooking. Never leave a hot barbecue unattended. Light a propane grill only with the cover open. If the flame on the propane grill goes out, you have to turn the grill and gas off and wait at least 5 minutes before relighting the grill. You want to periodically remove grease and fat buildup in the trays below the grill so it cannot be lighted or ignited by hot grill. Let the coals completely cool down before disposing in a metal container, and never empty coals directly into a trash can. Do not store or use grill on a porch or balcony, including any porch or balcony on an upper level of the building. And the last one, always store propane gas tanks outside of the buildings and or garages. Remember to properly inspect and maintain the tank, fittings, and tubing according to the manufacturer's instructions. And lastly, vapors leaked indoors can easily be ignited by pilot lights and or electrical equipment, causing an explosion. And that concludes the safety tips for grilling and the stats for June 2023. I appreciate your time. Are there any questions?
All right, any questions for Honolulu Fire Department? Okay, all right, there being none, thank you very much.
Alrighty, thank you. Good evening.
All right, have a good summer. Okay, next, Honolulu Police Department. We have a presentation.
Hi, aloha, Lieutenant Taro Nakamura with HPD. These are stats for June as compared to the previous month. Motor vehicle thefts were 7 as compared to 3. Burglaries were 4 as compared to 5. Thefts in general were 23 as compared to 16. And UEMVs, which is theft from autos, was 15 as compared to 8. It's at a total calls of service of 6,537 for the district. And further statistical information can be found at honolulupd.org. And our safety tip for the month is we just had a close call with Tropical Storm Calvin, but I found this family emergency communication plan pamphlet basically on the FEMA website. And it's a good reminder because our especially the younger you are, our whole lives are on our cell phones. And once we program somebody's number in, we tend to forget what that actual phone number is. And when push comes to shove and you need to get a hold of somebody, a loved one or a doctor or somebody important, if your cell phone's not working, you can't use that landline that might be working. So it has some good tips, and then what they basically say is try to create a plan for your family, which would include that. Physically write down important phone numbers and share that information with your family. And in the event of an emergency, whatever the emergency is, always have a family plan, a fallback plan. If you can't meet at the house, let's go meet at this park or something to that effect. And then lastly, if there is an emergency going on, if the cell towers are still up, if you can try to use text rather than phone calls, that will allow for more information to pass across the grid. So just some helpful tips for in case of an emergency. And that's our safety tip for the month.
All right, thank you. Hey, any new developments on catching the culprits who did the smash and grab on Hunakai the other night?
On Hunakai Street, I'm not personally aware of that, but I can
It was like 5 cars, windows were smashed, opposite Wesley Methodist Church on Hunakai. I mean, that
Okay.
was a big deal on the news. But I guess you don't have any information on that, officer.
I mean, we caught a couple of weeks ago. We caught what was his name? Cornegi, Anthony Cornegi down at Wai'alae Beach Park.
Mhm.
We caught him breaking into a car, and we were able to arrest him. Picked up a homeless. Well, not a homeless. We had another auto theft person, but as far as that actual case, I'm not personally aware of any developments, but I can definitely research it and I'll let you know next month.
All right, thank you. Any questions for HPD? Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
I just wanted to follow up on that,
Thank you.
on that same question. Prior years in maybe 6-7 years ago, I was in Nuuanu, and it seemed to be a recurring issue, that smash and grab. There never seemed to be anything stolen, but it seemed like people were passing by and smashing windows. Seemed sort of a similar situation. So it'd be wonderful to get that research to be able to determine if this is a trend that is happening now in our district, or if it happened to be a one-time occurrence.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's not a trend, but it is. I mean, what kind of sick person would go around and just hit windows for fun? That's pretty juvenile, if you ask me. But it's that's not a trend. Usually, when people do break into cars, they're breaking in to steal stuff. So, if you do see someone or you do see something suspicious, definitely feel free to give us a call.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions for HPD? All right, well, thank you very much for attending the meeting and appreciate the report.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay, we'll go next. Okay, we'll go next to Board of Water Supply. Lorna, are you there or have any? Oh, we have a new one. After all these years.
I'm Barry Usagawa. I work with Lorna.
Great.
I'm not sure boss. But anyway, she couldn't be here, but I have just a couple of announcements for me. The We had one main break to report. It was on June 13th. It was on Wai'alae Street between Farmers and Kāhala Ave, an 8-inch main that was installed in 1941. I have 3 announcements. July is the Smart Irrigation Month. So when outdoor water use typically increases with an abnormally hot and dry summer and below normal rainfall, and we have a strong El Nino forecasted for Hawaii this winter and early spring, we wanted to bring to your attention, how ways that you can use less water in terms of like irrigation. So if you have a sprinkler system, think about installing a weather-based irrigation controller. These devices use local weather stations to adjust irrigation system operating times based on the plant's water needs. And you can apply for a rebate of $100. Go to our website, boardofwatersupply.com, our water sensible rebate page. We also have a rebate on rain barrels, and that's the other way that you can collect rainwater to hold it for later to irrigate your potted plants and gardens. And that's a $40 rebate. As an irrigation tip, water your yard before 9 a.m. or after 5 when the heat of the day and the evaporation is lower. And then inspect irrigation system for leaks or misdirected or broken sprinkler heads. They can cause a lot of leaks in wastewater. So the other announcement is that after a 3-year hiatus, the Board of Water Supply will be bringing back the 2023 annual Halawa Xeriscape Garden Unthirsty Plant Sale. That's a mouthful there, but and it's on Saturday, August 5th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Admission is free and includes a variety of local drought-tolerant plant vendors and information booths. You can learn about plant care, pests, backyard composting, and more. Our Halawa Xeriscape Garden is at the end. It's in Halawa Industrial Park at the end of Wai'alae Street. For more information, you can visit our website at boardofwatersupply.com. And lastly, I have a flyer here on the. We're planning a 4th community meeting for the East Honolulu Watershed Management Plan, the public review draft. And that's going to be on Thursday, August 24th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And on the flyer, there's a QR code for the Zoom link. So it's going to be all virtual. There's also another QR code for the public review draft, which should be coming out in early August. It's not quite there yet, but we just wanted to tell you what it's about. We've had 3 meetings where we're talking about water issues in East Honolulu, how to conserve. We talked about watershed protection, the restoration efforts that are happening along the nearshore waters there, the fish pond, trying to improve the quality of Maunalua Bay, the cultural site restorations is all in the plan. And the plan is actually is aligned very closely with the East Honolulu Sustainable Communities Plan. So this plan is being done by the Board of Water Supply in coordination with the Department of Planning and Permitting. It's for the exact same areas. And this would be the first plan. We have not done this before. So when so we're going to release the public review draft and we're going to ask for comments. And I'll be back at the neighborhood board probably in September to make another presentation. What we'll try to do is, and it's up to you folks, but we're going to request that if you like what's in the plan, and if you think it supports what you're want to see in East Honolulu, we're going to request that the neighborhood board endorse it. if you can endorse the plan, it really helps us when we start to take it to council, because this has to then go to city council to be adopted by ordinance as part of chapter 30 revised ordinance of Honolulu. So we go through that, answer the questions, revise it with the public comments, and then when we submit it to the city council for adoption, we also have to submit it to the State Commission on Water Resource Management. And so it gets adopted by the city and the state in that order. And then it'll be the vision for water resource management and water conservation for East Honolulu for the next 5 years until we update it again. So it's a living document.
All right, okay.
So anyway, that's
Thank
what
you.
we have. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And any questions, I'd be happy to answer it.
All right, any questions?
Quick question. Are any of these meetings taped and available for later viewing?
Yeah, they'll be recorded. And on our website, boardofwatersupply.com, East Honolulu Watershed Plan, we have the other meetings on recorded as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, did you have something, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the recent quality reports that came out this
Yeah.
year, there is an element, contamination element called vanadium. And that item I saw is considered in some circles as being some carcinogen. And it's within the parameters based on the reports that I see. But I looked at the reports from previous years now with that in our particular report in our area. It has gone up. It has trended up in quantity, I guess I'll just use that term.
Concentration.
Right. And so I just wanted to know, you probably don't have the answer now, but I'm just curious to know about any concerns that the Board of Water Supply may have with that, although it's still, according to the health advisory, is within
It's
that.
below that, right?
But it's continuing to trend upwards.
Yeah. I'll have to research the trend. But yeah, we have to disclose everything we find, and you may know that the testing requirements or the testing methods are getting better and better, refining smaller and smaller stuff. So the latest one is PFAS, which is also carcinogenic, but we don't have, it's only in like 8 wells. But yeah, vanadium just came up only a couple of years ago that we started to pick it up. We'll research and I'll have Lorna come back.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Board of Water Supply? Okay, Mike, why don't we take you out of order, because I know you have to leave. This is Mike Buck, Governor Josh Green's representative. Please go ahead with your report, and then we'll go back to the other issues.
I like it when Rich says that I'm out of order. Yeah, I am. A couple of things. First of all, you're the first to know this. The reason I have to leave a little earlier is we're not done with our meetings, but we had a roundtable discussion about Calvin and the response. And I guess, the kupuna of the group, because I was one of the voices during Hurricanes Eva and Iniki. And I know very, very well, after spending, I think, a total of 12 days in Diamond Head, that we have come so far. And the appearance of Calvin was a jab in the okole to really present, and it worked magnificently. And specifically for all of each individual neighborhood or each individual thing had someone from JIC assigned to keep an eye out on that specific. You had 4 guys for Kāhala and Ainahaina, and that was pretty good. Anyway, you rest assured that Calvin was a good drill. We dodged a bullet. It could have been a lot worse, but knock on wood, we got by it. So you're the first to know that. A couple of other things. When you have something that you want an answer for, and you've been really good at it so far, there's a lot of ways to get to it. But the easiest way, if it isn't on something that I've already handed out, is just remember a personal email, which works really well for me. It's mikebuckhawaii@gmail.com. mikebuckhawaii@gmail.com. And anything that you give to me, I will get to you on the next meeting. Which leads me on to discuss from the Office of the Governor. This is today. Nobody else knows about this yet either, but it's coming. This is a capital improvement project, and it's the release of funds, 4.3 million in funds. and it's for this neighborhood as well as some others. Basically, it's rockfall and flood mitigation statewide, release of funds for construction of rockfall mitigation at Diamond Head State Monument on Oahu. $4 million for the construction, $4,230,000 in general obligation bond funds. And the estimated completion date will be December of next year. And that includes Senate District, Hawaii Kai, Kuli'o'o, Niu, Ainahaina, Wai'alae, Kāhala, Diamond Head, Kaimuki, and Kapahulu. So it's us guys. And the representative district is the 20th, which is Leahi, Kāhala, Wai'alae, Kaimuki, and Kapahulu. The governor approved that, all that money day before yesterday. Now it's out. There's a couple of other follow-up things real quickly on our last meeting. Board, some of you guys asked for an update on the ACLU's position about moving of the homeless person from camping on the slopes of Diamond Head. Chair Turbin reviewed the legalities of the rights of the homeless. And the answer to this is actually, and Rich knows this, is the ACLU is a non-governmental organization, and as such, our state government is not able to express their thoughts or actions the city and county of Honolulu is taking relating to the houseless population on Diamond Head. That's still a football, and I got to tell you, just because of how many of us have been up there, it's deceiving because these folks are smart. They know what they can get away with, and they know what they can't. They don't have a Rich Turbin working for them, but they know somebody that's given them a couple of legal sentences, and when the authorities arrive, they're dead in the water. So this is going to be an ongoing problem until our friends, Rich, I think you mentioned this last month, at the ACLU ease up just a little bit.
No, but they're not, because they have their own, they have their own agenda.
Yep.
And it's not a public agency, it's a nonprofit, the ACLU. And at some point, the city and or the state or both need to take action. And if the ACLU wants to sue in court, that's their right. And then a judge makes a decision.
Well, you're right. And the good news is that there are some in the administration now that want to be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be
It's
done.
growing,
It's
as you
been
know, it's a growing number.
For some 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I talked to, several mayors about it, and it's, this is the way our system works. And, oh, well, we can't do it unless the ACLU agrees. I mean, who said that the ACLU runs our government?
Well, I'll give you a funny one. It just so happens that my first cousin, Dan Foley, was at one time.
I know.
Yeah, the ACLU. We've had some interesting dinner conversations about that agency over the years, and now he's kind of on our side. If you notice, he's been appointed to a couple of things where he's being helpful. Okay, there's another thing. I was asked to report on the governor's position of using state funds to relocate homeless whose properties on the coast are being, homeowners, I should say, whose properties are being threatened by the rise on seawater. And this should come as no surprise. There were several bills this session about climate changes and sea rise, but no proposals to use state funds for private landowners for home relocation. This is affecting mortgages, this is affecting sales, but it is what it is. State and county governments are being asked to answer this question. And while there are some ideas under consideration, there are no clear policies yet. In the meantime, Governor did take action to protect beaches and shorelines and public land. There's a link to the news release on July 6th, where he signed several bills into law. That's Office of the Governor news release, and it'll give you all of that information. Any questions?
Yeah, any questions for Mike Buck, governor's representative?
More of a statement, Mike. Speaking on the homeless population around Diamond Head, 2 nights ago, I was driving with my sister to return a phone to a friend, and a homeless gentleman let his dogs out of his car without even looking.
Yeah.
And I had to swerve, hit my brakes, and it endangered not only my life, but more importantly, the life of my sister. Not even 10 seconds after that, there was a homeless woman having a mental health crisis in the middle of the road, and it took us about 5 minutes to coax her out of the middle of the road. So to those who are listening, the inaction is starting to not only inconvenience, but endanger people as
That's
well.
a great point. I drive by there nightly and there's always something going on. It is disturbing.
Yeah, you have to watch very, very carefully when you're driving at night on Diamond Road because there are homeless, kind of meandering across the street. And sometimes you wonder, well, do they want to get hit? I mean, so you have to watch out very, very.
There is one
Carefully.
more thing, some of you may recall when I started coming to these meetings to represent the governor, that we talked about some vegetation, some other things that were getting taken care of by the DLNR and others. There are problems also on that road, Rich, when you talk about having to be careful. There is both city and state and private vegetation that really narrow that street down. And then when there's a bicyclist or a skateboarder or a dog running in the thing, there's just not enough room. So we need to work together on that, whatever it takes to maybe demand a certain number of feet between the side of the road and any vegetation.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay,
Okay,
anything else?
ongoing problem. Yes, sir.
Could you talk in the mic, please? I'm sorry. Could you talk in the mic?
Maybe you can share the mic.
Yeah, if you could
Yeah.
share the mic, I'm sorry.
Mike, share the mic. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your mic with
Sure.
me, Mike. I wonder if you could talk about the recent governor's emergency proclamation on housing.
Yeah, what that did was it opened up a few opportunities, and particularly on the short and long term. Remember last month I talked about a terminology that we're starting to flip around in the governor's office, and it's instead of NIMBY, it's YIMBY. Yes, in my backyard. We need to make sure that some of these things that we're talking about, and the governor gave a great example of that. He let folks move into that Washington place. There's no quick fix here. We need 28,000 home units on Oahu alone. And that's not going to happen overnight. So what we have to do is the proclamation allowed us to go to the feds and get emergency measures on whether we get a bunch. Somebody suggested you can get 1,000 motorhomes and you can get them delivered. You can put them someplace and let them be used until such time as, you can do something else. That's only the first step. And what that does is it triggers a paycheck. You can sign something once he has that proclamation. And the Board of Water Supply, by the way, guys, if you haven't already done that, somebody said on the radio the other day, and after 60 years in that business, there's a couple of guys I don't like that says, well, there's a Board of Water Supply, main break every 8 minutes. I mean, when you said earlier, it didn't sink in. What was that? The year did that? 1941. Geez, that's older than me. I mean, nothing lasts from 1941. So anyway, in answer to your question, that proclamation is really just a bulldozer to open some space to get funding.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Mike? Okay, thank you.
MikeBuckHawaii@gmail.com. And I'll answer you next month.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
September, we're in recess.
Oh, yeah.
for
No,
August.
thanks for the month off. I appreciate it.
Okay, good. Enjoy it. Enjoy that month off. Okay, we'll move back now. Filling of vacancies of the board. Residents must present ID and proof of address. Well, we do have an at-large vacancy. So that means that we can invite or suggest somebody volunteer to be on the board who just lives anywhere in the area, anywhere in Subdistrict 3 area, Wai'alae, Kāhala, and be on the board as an at-large member. So right now, I guess we have 7 members, but if we can find somebody who likes to be on the board, who lives anywhere in our district, that would be terrific. It shouldn't be too hard. And then at least we can get up to 8, which makes it easier to reach our quorum. Okay? Peter?
Is nepotism okay?
Nepotism is fine as long as,
They represent themselves according to the standard.
yeah. Who are you thinking about? What?
I have a son who studies the permit, surf lessons and all that kind of stuff. He's very interested in these aberrations. So he might be interested in the ones that we follow up on.
Yeah, request. Yeah,
Yeah,
son-in-law.
I'll ask.
Yeah,
Son-in-law, yeah.
son-in-law. Okay, so
In,
not a.
in,
not
in
a full brother.
favorable standing.
Okay, good. All right,
Yeah.
good. We trust you, Peter. That's a good idea. Anyway, so let's try to recruit somebody, who would, really be interested in work and attend meetings. We got months to do that. And then Sub-District 2, Judy Ann, do you know, Sub-District 2, which area is that? I mean, he knows, is that yours, Brian? Okay. So Brian, maybe you know somebody who might want to be on the board for Sub-District 2? Yeah, start knocking on the doors. You got 2 months. Okay. All right, great. And so let's work on that. Reports of members' attendance at other meetings. Any reports of members at other kind of official meetings? Yeah, Brian, go.
Rich, I myself, Christian, and when was it? Was last month, right? Did you report that already, or
June?
was it after? It was on the last one. I wasn't
Okay.
here, so she already shared that, so I don't need to share.
Okay.
Done.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have to elect a secretary. Any nominations for secretary?
I'd like to nominate Brian Wong.
Okay. We will, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Any other nominations? Okay, there being none. Judy Ann, why don't you do the roll call?
Okay, so this is the position of secretary for the board, for Brian Wong. Could I get a second?
Second,
Okay, remember he met,
did,
okay.
Peter, okay, Sylvia's raising her
Yeah,
hand.
okay.
Sylvia seconds.
All right, so member De Quevedo,
Aye.
member Dudgeons,
Hi.
member Harrell,
Aye.
member Himeta,
Aye.
member Turbin, or Chair Turbin,
Aye.
and member Wong.
Aye.
Okay,
Good.
so it's
Had to hold my
unanimous,
breath.
6-0-0, and you are secretary, member Wong.
Yay, yay.
Perfect.
Yay. Okay, good. All right, we have a full house. Awesome. Thank you for reminding me, Judy Ann. Okay, so now go back to elected officials. Casey Abe, Department of Transportation, Hawaii Highway Division's representative. Are you there, Casey?
Yes, good evening, Chair. Good evening, board members. Casey Albert from the State Highways Division. I'd like to share my screen here. Okay. I guess, excuse me, we got the resolution from the Wai'alae Neighborhood Board about the traffic study. Talking to our traffic and planning office, our planning office did a study back in August of 2016 for the whole H1 corridor. And I was looking through the report here, they realized that the capacity is one of the most severe problems. And as you can see here with areas that I highlighted, the westbound H1 between 5th Avenue and Middle Street, and also eastbound from Middle Street to the merge of Punahou Street are the two, I guess, most congested areas during the AM peak period. Okay. These are, in the report, there were listed 10 top segments, and the 9th top segment consists of Vineyard to the University, where the AM demand exceeds in both directions. This report also shows the anticipated annual daily traffic of 200,862 in 2035. It shows the safety concerns, also the bridge and pavement concerns, which we are currently addressing right now with our resurfacing projects, and also some major closures that occurred during the past. So this is the 9th top area along the H1 corridor. Also the 10th, which made the top 10, is the University to the Ainako Avenue. Again, as you folks already can witness, that the AM demand exceeds the capacity going westbound in the morning. And again, we're working on addressing the bridges and pavement concerns. And you can also see the safety concerns and the major closures that occurred during that our study. Um, Next, we looked at the feasibility analysis, and for these two areas that affects the Wai'alae Kāhala Neighborhood Board. And as you can see, projects which require large land taking were mostly in the town sections, and those two sections, the Vineyard Boulevard south to University Avenue and University to Avenue to Anacoa Avenue, were the two areas that would require a lot of land taking. As you can see there, it would have to negotiate quietly with a lot of landowners, private landowners, if we need to take land, if we wanted to increase capacity by adding another lane. So the report also talked about top 5 project that would give us our best benefit ratio, cost benefit ratio. And this area, your area, Wai'alae Kāhala, we're thinking about ramp metering, all the various ramps that goes on to the H1 westbound, excuse me, in the morning, try to do some kind of ramp metering. But again, this was just a general report here. My next step is to submit funding requests during the next legislative session so I can try to get funding to do another more detailed, in-depth traffic study as you folks have requested in your resolution. Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you. I'll just add, I mean, since Sylvia brought this up and, you know, some 6 months ago or so, I've been watching more carefully because I do that morning commute. And it seems like the problem is centered around the university on-ramp, you know, the university on-ramp coming from Manoa, that really clogs things up. And I don't know what you can do, another lane there to help those cars get on the freeway, metering as you suggested. So they, you know, there's regulation on how many cars. I don't know how Manoa got so crowded, but it just seems like, you know, it's the Manoa on-ramp that is the big problem for the morning commute going westbound.
Right. So this
Sylvia,
study,
you want to add?
I have another concern. Today in the afternoon around 2 something, I was coming from town to go eastbound to Kāhala, and it was bumper to bumper traffic. And so that's not necessarily our early morning or late afternoon, but it was the middle of the day and it was still bumper to bumper on the freeway going from town to Kāhala, going eastbound.
yeah,
What
okay,
time
yeah.
was that, Sylvia? 2 in the afternoon. Okay. Well,
so-
anybody else have any comments to Casey? Well, Casey, please keep on working on this, okay? I'm glad you encouraged us
Yeah,
to
so
pass that resolution.
yeah, so next, my next step is to request for funding so I can do a more detailed, in-depth study in just this area of the Wai'alae Kāhala, as you mentioned in your resolution. But
Right.
the second resolution was the H1 planner box. Okay, talking to our district people, as you can see here, I guess we have the so-called rockscape right now. And we're thinking of doing something similar to what's under the viaduct, but a little bit more, it's kind of like sloping the so-called grout that we'll be using away from the rockscape towards the edge of the planters. So we would reduce the chances of any water puddling when it rains, because when it puddles, that's when the weeds start to come out, as you can see under the viaduct area. So what we plan to do is looking at doing a smooth grout, like a sidewalks, but a slope away from the center of the planter towards the edges. So when it rains, the water would run off and minimize the areas where water will be ponding and many weeds would start to grow. But this is our proposed plan, and hopefully the neighborhood board would accept that. So we're trying to see if we can just save the rockscape right now and just grout all around the rocks. So there'll be minimum ponding where weeds could grow. I don't know if the neighborhood board would.
Interesting. Yeah, Brian, you have a comment?
Casey, I think that's a great idea. I think it's good to think of something else there than just some like Moana Lua highway area. You know, I passed by that Moana Lua area where we had kind of shared in comparison about doing the concrete
Yeah,
filling. And I noticed in that area, there's weeds that are growing along there, even though they made that area concrete.
edge, right?
Weeds are coming out. So to your point, it has to be sealed, you know, and having the water going away from the center, that in the design and that sort of thing, I think it'll be good. Otherwise, it'll just collect water and weeds will just pop up like some of it is doing right now. So I would like to see something like that, like you're proposing, versus something that's like at Moana Lua, which I don't think looks nice at all.
Right, okay. I'll work with our designers and mention that about the problems that the Moana Lua median is having with the weeds are on the edges. So we gotta do some kind of grouting or something to prevent any area that the water can accumulate and the weeds can grow. But I'll work with the designers on that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments for Casey?
Casey, a couple of other things. The signage going westbound from Kalaniʻoliʻoli onto the H1, is that coming up soon? They're going to be reinstalling that, the ones that got damaged during the high winds. And then the other sign that's right there for exit 27, I think it says, right where it says bicycles and mopeds, it's all defaced by graffiti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've followed up with our district office and our design office. Yeah, I've been hounding them about that, but they haven't gotten back to me. But I'll follow up with them again, and hopefully they can react to it. But I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll remind them that you folks are concerned with the overhead sign missing and also the graffiti. So I'll let them know on that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then-
any other questions or comments for Casey? All right.
Yeah.
All right,
And then-
Casey.
Yeah,
I'm
just
sorry.
the last thing I just wanted to know that I guess Lucinda mentioned about the irrigation system along the on-ramp to Kalaniʻoliʻoli Highway eastbound for the Ashoka trees. It was repaired, so I know she's not on the board anymore, but that was one of the concerns. We finally got it repaired, so the Ashoka trees, as you can see in the picture, will be having be watered with the irrigation system now repaired. But that's all I got. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Casey. We appreciate your conscientious participation. Aloha. Okay, so next item, elected officials, Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative, Derek Miyashiro. Derek, the floor is yours.
Hi, good evening, Chair and board members. I just want to highlight a couple of things in case anybody missed it. The rail, now known as Skyline, it has been operational and is taking passengers as of June 30th. So if anybody wants to take a ride, please enjoy. The other thing is that the city's rental and utility relief program is temporarily reopened this summer, thanks to $25 million in state and local fiscal recovery funds from the Honolulu City Council. I also want to mention for the Board of Water Supply, every 5 years, the Board of Water Supply reviews its current rate schedule and structure as part of a cost of service study. BWS operations is funded by ratepayers, and these revenues are used for CPI projects, pipe and pump replacements, facility maintenance, water quality testing, and just operational matters. As part of the rate setting process, BWS would like to present each board with the proposed 5-year increases. The presentation is about 20 to 30 minutes, not including Q&As. They do apologize for the length, but they feel it's necessary to share the information with the community. So they will be contacting, I guess, the various boards looking to schedule these presentations in the month of August and September. If the board does not have sufficient time to allow that presentation, the Board of Water Supply does want to inform the public and the community that there are 3 meetings in August that community members can attend. The first one is Monday, August 14th at Benjamin Park Elementary School from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Tuesday, August 15th at the Japanese Cultural Center, also 6 to 8:30 p.m. And Wednesday, August 16th at Kāhala from 6 to 8:30 p.m. So just want to throw that out. BWS will be in touch and try to schedule something like that with this board. Also, just reporting back, former member Piles had made some inquiries regarding a bare dirt area at the Wai'alae Beach Park, along with an exposed water valve that was leaking near the Kāhala Avenue and Wai'alae Beach Park area. That water valve has been replaced and repaired. That bare dirt area that she referenced is actually it's a catchment area for when the Wai'alae stream overflows. So at the moment, there's no plans to reseed or fertilize that area due to the poor growing conditions of that area. Also, member Himeda had asked about the frequency of the maintenance at the Kilauea median. DFM performs that maintenance as resources are available. The last maintenance on the Kilauea Avenue medians were performed on June 23rd of this past month, and the next scheduled maintenance is next week, July 24th. Okay.
Okay, all right. Any questions, Derek? Yeah, please go ahead, Pedro.
I saw that there was a second round of nonprofit relief resources that are being provided for local nonprofits by the city and county of Honolulu. There was a first round, there's a second round that was released maybe a few days ago. I was wondering if you had any knowledge, or if you might come back as to why there's a second round, if it wasn't being able to be distributed the first time around, if there was more funds that were available for the city and county, or if that was always planned in that sort of distribution way.
I'm not sure of the specifics, so I'll have to get back to you on that, but of course.
Okay. Any other questions for Derek? All right.
Quick comment on the park that Lucinda had brought up, Member Piles. I believe the area she was referencing to was not the catchment area, but rather a area where they had an excavator sitting for several months when they were doing construction in that area. It had compacted the earth. They might have thrown down some sand, but every time it rains, there's a large puddle that forms there. Lots of mosquitoes, and just kind of makes it an eyesore, makes that patch of grass unusable, which is pretty much dead center off to the right-hand side, if I recall correctly. So if we happen to have somebody in that area who can check that out, that would be greatly appreciated.
We'll ask our Department of Facility Maintenance to go back and just double check.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
All right.
that.
Thank you.
Could
Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, just on that subject of the catchment, I go by there a lot. I'm trying to think, if the canal overflowed, just how much water the area that I'm thinking about could actually hold. I know something doesn't, 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2, I think, but I don't know. We'd have to be specific. I'm thinking of the lowland near the road. You're thinking of further towards the beach?
I'm thinking about midway into the park off to the right-hand side and kind of combining into that area as well, or it's just all sort of dead and muddy.
Yeah, I think we're probably thinking the same thing. I just don't have any ability to measure. Anyway, it doesn't look great, and it seems odd.
Maybe we can ask our Facility Maintenance Department to take some photographs of the area that they're thinking of.
Yeah.
And just in general, maybe that'll give us all a better idea of,
Thank
location.
you. You give nice reports, by the way.
Well, the neighborhood commission is kind enough to assemble.
Well, it's helpful.
Yeah,
We're
quite a
starved.
compliment. I haven't heard Peter compliment a presenter like that in years. Okay, thank you very much, Derek. Any other questions for Derek?
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to Councilmember Tommy Waters. We have, hey, we got a report.
Good evening, Kāhala Fisher. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Terrific. Aloha and good evening, Chair Turbin and board members. Kāhala Fisher with Chair Waters' office. I will be brief this evening with Chair Waters' July update. I forwarded the July newsletter to the board via email. However, you can find a copy of our newsletter on the Honolulu City Council website. As part of our continuing effort to gather the community's input regarding existing conditions at city parks, the Department of Parks and Recreations is conducting a final survey to gauge public opinion for proposed rules governing city park outdoor courts, to include basketball, pickleball, tennis, and volleyball courts. The survey and draft copy of the proposal can be found online at bit.ly/draft-court-rules. The link can also be found in our July newsletter. Really important, deadline to complete the survey is tomorrow, Friday, July 21st. The council passed Bill 37 and 40, providing tax relief for Oahu homeowners and kupuna. Bill 37 provides a real property tax credit for homeowners whose property tax exceeds 3% of their income. To qualify for the tax credit, the combined income of all title holders for the property must not exceed $80,000. Please note that homeowners must file for the credit no later than September 30th, 2023. Bill 40 increases the exemption amount from $100,000 to $120,000 for homeowners and $140,000 to $160,000 for kupuna. To qualify for this exemption, at least one homeowner must be 65 years or older, and the homeowner must file for their exemption before September 30th, 2023 as well. For more information on filing for your real property tax credit or exemption, please visit the Department of Budget and Fiscal Services Real Property Assessment Division website. Their website is www.realpropertyhonolulu.com. That's going to be it for our report this month. I'm available for any questions I can take back to Chair Waters.
All right, any questions for Chair Waters, representative? Okay, there being none, thank you very much.
Mahalo.
Okay. All right, so now we go to Representative Bert Kobayashi. Is Representative Kobayashi present or his representative? Okay. I guess not. Do we have, yeah, I guess we got a report. Okay. Mark Hashem, Representative Mark Hashem, or his representative present? Okay. Is there somebody for Mark? I saw a name come up on the screen, but okay, I guess not. Okay, Senator Stanley Chang. Is Senator Chang or his representative here?
Hi, board. Good evening, everyone. My name is Teresa. I'm here on behalf of Senator Chang. First, just wanted to update the board about the resolution they passed regarding a traffic study for the corridor. So our office sent the Department of Transportation a letter, and we received a letter back from Director Sniffen, and I emailed that letter to the Neighborhood Commission office email, so board members should have gotten a copy of that letter. And it seems like the director is focusing on other parts of the freeway, so at this time he won't be able to fund the traffic study. And then specifically regarding our office, and I'm going to put all the links in the chat, you can find our July newsletter on Senator Chang's website, senatorchang.com. And And Senator Chang also has a housing newsletter where he updates constituents and housing stakeholders on news in the housing sphere, locally in Hawaii, nationally and internationally. And you can sign up at the link in the chat. And we also sent out our constituent postcard in the mail in May, but we have an online version for people who prefer that, and the link to fill that out is also in the chat. And I can take back any questions to Senator Chang if anyone has.
All right, any questions for Teresa from Senator Chang's office? Okay, Peter, go ahead.
It was just a thought as I read the names of Bert, Mark, and Stanley. Bert used to be pretty consistent, but I don't think we've seen Mark and Stanley since they got elected. Would it be politically correct to ask them to visit us once a year, maybe?
No, I think it's a good idea. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's kind
if you
of
think.
pass it on. Let's, is it Julianne? Can you pass it on, or I guess I can do letters. Ask them to come to the September meeting and say hello so we can at least recognize their faces.
I know for Senator Chang, Teresa could probably request that with Senator Chang if possible, because I know she always comes consistently, but and she also sends reports to me via email. So I put in the minutes in regards to Mark and or Rep Hashem, and also I want to say Bert or Rep Kobayashi is online, but it doesn't. I don't know. He's muted, so I don't know if he's gonna be on or not. But I know he does try to come if he can.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Bert's steady Eddie, is he okay?
Bert. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, he's been so regular, consistent, and
I know he came to the Kamoki board last night, so
Oh.
because I was there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he might be here. Maybe he might come on a little bit later because I know I see him online. I see his name online. I don't know if his video can be able to come on, or yeah, right now he's muted, so maybe he
probably
come on.
doing something else. Well, Bert, if you're there, kind of show us your handsome face. Okay. Well, let's try to ask them to, I can send out letters, emails prior to the September meeting. Yeah, they used to be a little bit more consistent as far as making meetings. I mean, it's true of going back, we can find a locale in the community, and we had more community members present at the meetings, they might be more interested in attending. Yeah, touching flesh and saying hello but okay. I'll try to poke them and prod them to see if they can come. Because I mean, the legislature isn't in session. Really, they don't start really working hard till about November and December. So we should be able to get them for the September and October meetings anyway.
And we vote too.
Yeah. Well, especially with election coming up. You were going to say something, Brian?
To your point about the legislation being out of session and that, I think it's important for that they would be here timely to hear some issues so that it can be brought up in legislature at the right time. So.
Right, help create the
Right,
agenda for that.
exactly.
Yeah, all right, good point, Brian. Okay. Well, I can send out a little letter in September, try to get them out, try to get them to show up. Okay, residents' community concerns, 3 minutes limit. Anybody here for a residents' community concern?
Oh, she goes here.
Carol? Hi. All right, we always enjoy your reports, Carol.
All right, hello. I have a brief report to give about the CIP. And if I can share a screen, I'll do that now. Tell me when you can see it.
We can see it.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can see
great.
it now.
Okay, all right, I'll just go very quickly, not take much of your time. So this is an update about the Culinary Institute of the Pacific Phase 2 construction. This is, as you can see, they're really moving along. This is the restaurant entry that you're looking at here, and they've put in the exterior drywall and the coating, and what you're looking toward the ocean and downtown. For those of you who were familiar with the former Cannon Club, this is where the port cochere and the entry to the Cannon Club was, this site here that you're looking at. This slide here shows you the auditorium entry. The restaurant and the auditorium were joined together. The design didn't originally had them joined together, but they are now. It was a space cost saving measure. You'll see that there's a lot of fresh grading. Planter boxes were put in. That's where we're going to put some native plants. And then the walkways are finished, and this view is looking toward Kaimuki. And finally, that green space that you kept seeing next to the lab that's been in existence from phase 1 construction now has the steel construction there where the Innovation Center is going to be. So that's quite exciting to see that construction is moving along. And then my final slide is showing the installation of the rock veneer over the retaining wall. All of that work is in progress. There were concerns expressed by community members about how glaring the white retaining wall was. So the rock veneer installation was moved up in the stages of construction so that could be covered up. So that's where we are at this point in time. We do have a quarterly town hall meeting, October the 5th, and that's where people can see many, many more slides than I show in these updates. Finally, I did want to say, I heard your discussion about KCC possibly being a site for, your neighborhood meetings. And if you would like me to, someone from the board can be in touch with me, and I'll have you meet with our Vice Chancellor of Administrative Services to see if there's any possibility of that happening.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
would be great. Anybody want to take that job on?
I'll do it, Rich.
All right, Brian. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome, Brian. Yeah, we'd love for you to do that. Oh, that would be great. Thank you, Carol.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. All right. Thank you for your report. Appreciate it. And when's the opening date? I think you said what, 2024?
It's probably going to be fall of 2024. We're going to get the facility key, hopefully the end of this calendar year, possibly in January 2024. It will take time to get the inside set up and to get staff on and so on, but we're hoping that it's fall of 2024.
Okay. Would it be within the rules for the neighborhood board to crack open a bottle of champagne at the center when it opens?
I'm hoping that we'll be able to have a soft opening. That's what I'm going to lobby for.
Awesome. Okay. We wish you great success in that lobbying effort. Okay. Thank you so much, Carol. I'm wondering if we could move up to, board business C, the golf screen at Kāhala Street. I can see, Jim, you've been waiting patiently. Okay, why don't you take the floor now?
I'll just give a brief update.
And of course,
Chairwater's office.
Of course, introduce yourself. I know it's Jim,
Jim Nicolay.
Thank you, Jim.
Resident of Wai'alae Place, representing my neighbors on that street. Thank you. Update on the golf screen at 949 Wai'alae Place. Council Chair Waters' office has gotten involved they set a riser to DPP asking for information about it. DPP has issued a letter threatening fines for illegal construction. Council Waters' office sent some additional information requesting clarification. DPP seems to think that the construction fence is the golf screen, and we have not heard back from DPP when asking them to clarify it. The question remains, no one on the street knows how big this is or what it's going to look like. And it does appear that the contractor has built the concrete and steel footings for some sort of barrier. And the residents are concerned because we simply don't know how big it is, what it's going to look like, and we don't yet have an answer. So that's where we are today. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, well, thank you, Jim, for coming and making that report. Appreciate it. Keep us posted. Okay, we'll get on to the other board business. The approval of the Thursday, June 15, 2023 minutes. I guess you've all had a chance to review the minutes. I know Sylvia had called Judy-Ann and myself regarding some, editing corrections, names, nothing super important as far as, policy. So Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes with all additions, deletions, modifications that have been made. So moved, Peter. Thank you. Is there a second? Okay,
Second.
Sylvia seconds. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. The next item is the $1,000 one-time fund for outreach. Any new suggestions as far as that's concerned? Okay, Brian, please go ahead.
Don't mind indulge me in a quick presentation.
Oh, great. We have time. Okay,
And
great.
I'll just put this up here. Share. I'll use the mic too. Okay. All right, here's just some ideas. This is just to throw out some ideas of outreach. So one idea is storm drain markings. Okay, there's a program with the city to go out there and use the stencil and mark our streams. It goes to the mark the drainage. It goes, things go to the ocean. So bring awareness. Don't just throw things in our drains along the street. The idea would be for us to go out there, safety vests and that sort of thing. We'd have outreach with the community. We'd be out there meeting with people. Maybe we'll have some goodies as people pass by. And I have some ideas on some of those goodies. And, we wear Wai'alae Kāhala neighborhood T-shirts. I have ideas for that in the upcoming slide. We have a banner just to bring awareness to the neighborhood board and do some great things for the community. So the map you see here is the available storm drains that don't have markings in our area. It's an eye chart right now, but you get the idea. There's several storm drains that are not marked, and then there are some that are marked in our areas, particularly in your area there, Rich, down in Kāhala Avenue area and such. But anyway, that's one idea that we could do outreach. The other one is adopt a block or stream. Again, this is a city program that's available. We could adopt a particular stream, Wai'alae stream, Kalapaki stream, whatever the streams we may want to do a cleanup effort. May need a little bit more volunteers, but it involves the neighborhood board. Again, similar, wear T-shirts, banners, have goodie bags, bring awareness to the neighborhood board, and do something great for the community out there in adopting a block for cleanup or stream cleanup as well. This is a little bit more involved with reaching out to folks in the city to get that organized. And then the last one I have is just a simple disaster preparedness table. We go to a park, one of our district parks or community parks, and set up a table during whatever events might be happening that time, or with our partners there at Kāhala Mall, we set up a booth or a table, and again, bring awareness to, and I just chose disaster preparedness since we're in the season right now. And these are some handouts that are available on the website, in the city website for their, at the emergency management website. Again, bringing awareness to this particular topic and then highlighting the neighborhood board for the public. Ideas for giveaways, there, again, just ideas tossing out there. We could choose whatever, but I took a look and, mini first aid kits, $3. You put Wai'alae Kāhala neighborhood board on them, Keiki first aid kit, water bottles, whatever we may want to, again. And then t-shirt ideas. This is just, I just pulled this out of my pocket, so to speak, as far as different types of designs that we could consider for t-shirts, to just shout out to the folks that you have a neighborhood board out here, and well, come join us. We got some openings, and also that we do some fantastic things to try and help our community as well. So these are 3 things that I've kind of put together. I'm sure there are many ideas out there, but I thought I'd just share what I was kind of doing in my.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Brian, you get the award, most valuable player. This is really good. This is really good. I'm just thinking, maximum publicity would be, getting to the Kāhala Mall some weekend. Saturday, probably Saturday, Saturday afternoon or Saturday afternoon probably would be optimum. Saturday morning, second most optimum, and Sunday afternoon, third most optimum. Yeah, so I wonder whether they would approve, whether the Kāhala Mall would approve of this. A third, so the other idea would be Kāhala Market, the new, of course, we've been working with, I know it's not the Kāhala Market, is not the official name.
Kono.
Yeah, Kāwana.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's just my thought. I mean, I'm thinking from a PR standpoint, maximum exposure, cleaning up a stream would be great, but nobody would really know we're doing it,
Would that include canals?
Yeah. I think so. There's kind of streams and canals in our area. I mean,
Nobody sees you.
yeah, nobody sees you. I mean, I'm thinking if we had a first, perhaps a, first exposure at one of the markets, and then if we want to have a clean the stream day, we can notify people, at that, exposure at one of the markets. Hey, next Saturday, we're going to have clean the stream day. Anybody want to join us? So that would kind of be a double exposure. Okay.
So for the clean the streams, I'm sure a lot of us are part of Rotary. They do that sort of, we could partner with Rotary clubs, get a little bit of exposure, get a bit from more volunteers. But I really like the idea of the table. So my background is in public health and it's a nonprofit. So that's a really great relationship to build, bringing in a little bit more nonprofits. It could be disaster preparedness for a time. We could switch it to something else that might be of interest to the district, and sort of bring in different nonprofits to partner with us with that education. I think that it provides a value because of the demographics that are in Kāhala Mall. I think it provides value to the mall. So I think that it might be of an interest to them. They're always having, a lot of different sort of activities going on in that main stage. And part of my side business is working with a graphic designer that I think might be able to bring in some nifty
Well,
designs to some of these products.
Pedro, what about if we kind of tasked you to contact the Kāhala Mall?
Yeah.
Yeah,
happy to.
and, before the September meeting and see if they would be willing to work with us. Okay, if that, I mean, Kāhala Mall would give us the most exposure. But if they won't do it, then I can approach the Kiwanis Market people who I talk to, you know, regularly anyway. That would be I guess, our second choice. Okay? And then, T-shirt ideas is fine. I would donate to, get some T-shirts made.
So Chair, I got good news for that. So what we're doing right now, since it's our 50th anniversary for the Neighborhood Commission Office and the Neighborhood Boards, we've been around for 50 years. This year, we're actually getting T-shirts for all members. We just want to make sure, that's why on your member profile sheet at the bottom, it shows T-shirt sizes. So we're doing T-shirts for sure. They're dry fit T-shirts that you can wear for outside, but we're also looking for polo shirts that we're going to be giving you guys too. That will be something that you can wear like inside, yeah, so we're gonna have the neighborhood commission logo, the city and county neighborhood commission logo, and we're also gonna have like your guys' name, the name of the board.
Great.
The logo, and on the shirt, and it's gonna be that NCO green, so you guys don't have to worry about the shirt. In regards to, memorabilia that you wanna put the, Wai'alae Kāhala, like any kind of stuff that you wanna hand out, if you could give me, or if you could give the NCO I wanna say a quote on how much it would cost that you guys want to give out and what it would cost for supplies. That's something we can do for outreach. That's what $1,000 can go to, and then we can use it. Our office will actually give the money to you guys that way through like the quote and stuff. So that's something that we can definitely do.
Large T-shirt.
You gotta put it on your profile. Fill out your profile.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, maybe how much more time do we have before we have to wear? 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. All right. So, yeah, please. Sylvia.
Probably maybe not for this $1,000, but if we ever have money again, my suggestion would be to see if we could help the community park houses, like to help build part of a fence for us to contribute so that it would help the houses, or even to be there and saying that we would like to build a fence, and that if if we're offering something there, people could come and help donate money, that we want to help protect houses that are from the being able to, from the balls not being able to get smashed into their cars and their windows and things.
Okay.
that-
Yeah. But about decades ago, we did help build a fence around the Kāhala Elementary School. That was a big, success of the neighborhood board. I think about 30 years ago, we did it. So we can do stuff like that. Hey, I'm just wondering whether, since you folks kind of are working together, Brian, Christian, Pedro, maybe you can kind of make a recommendation, assuming we can get a table, what we want to hand out, whether it be the disaster preparedness guide, maybe that would be a good thing. And whether we want to give away flashlights or something that would be helpful in a disaster. If you can come up with a recommendation, maybe we can, on the September meeting, make a final decision, especially if I'll give you my phone number. If you can't get Kāhala Mall, then I can go chase the Kiwanis Market, All right, but let's try to do something, make a concrete decision at the September meeting. Thank you, Brian. This is great. I mean, we really appreciate you working on this,
I think Brian are excellent. Maybe even in sort of matching the giveaways to sort of issues that the community will be facing at that time. So during hurricane season, first aid kits would be essential. And then during the hotter months, we can do the water bottles as well. So an additional draw and just giving something to the community that they actually require. That
Mhm. Yeah, great, great. And then if we, if we can really get a place in the community, oh, that would be, yeah, let's make that a priority also. Who was it that was going to talk with Carol? Was that you, Brian? Yeah, okay. All right. You're getting a lot of assignments, Mr. Secretary. Yeah, most valuable secretary. Okay, I think we're almost finished. We're on schedule. The vacant house ordinance, I think we can, just leave that on, pass it over. DLNR proposal to dismantle Diamond Head Breakwater. Well, we lost in, I guess, the first vote. They went unanimous to to do the breakwater. And there's some, people in the community that are going to keep on working on that. I don't have anything to add. I don't know if anybody else.
Freddie Fong's keeping working at it, that's for sure.
Yeah, Freddie Fong, Lee Waidu, that other lawyer. Okay. Well, we'll ask them at the right time.
It could stumble under its own weight too.
Yeah. It's a lot of money, it's going to be a lot of money that the state will have to put out for that. Primary urban center development plan moved to East Honolulu region. I guess nothing new to report on that. I guess we keep on.
Maybe we could invite her back for a guest appearance, because I'm sure she's not going to give it up.
Yeah, okay, Lucinda?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll keep it on the agenda. I guess they're probably traveling now. Okay, I can give her a holler for the September meeting. Okay. Oh, good. All right. That's right. You got the committee. Yeah, you got the stick. Okay. Well, leave it up to Brian. Okay. That seems to be the mantra for today's meeting. Leave it up to Brian. Yeah, Judy, keep track of all the assignments you're given to Brian. Okay, we got some mail. I'll just report on a few items of mail. Yeah, we got the Planning Commission. They're having a meeting, Wednesday, July 26th. That's next week, 1:30 p.m. There's a proposal to build this is the one on something. This is Aloha Stadium development, a transit-oriented development on Aloha Stadium. Anybody can look at these little items of mail that we get. They're available. And then there's another Planning Commission meeting about the Samoan Methodist Church in Wai'alae wanting to build something. And there's one other proposal. This is something in our area, 327, 331 Portlock Road. Well, of course, that's Hawaii Kai building a residential house. Okay, so I think that's it. Anybody else have anything to bring up for the good of the order? Okay. Hearing none, next regular board meeting on Thursday, September 20th, 2023, 7:00, right here. So everybody have a great summer. Enjoy the August recess. Be safe, and thank you all for participating. I think all in all, we've had a good year and we've accomplished a lot. So, with our new members, Pedro, do you have a chance to introduce yourself? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm currently the executive director of the American Lung Association in Hawaii. So I've been working in public health here in Hawaii for about almost 25 years, since I was 2 years old. And also been working as a consultant, a health and communications and advocacy consultant for about 10 years, working on different homelessness, domestic violence, sexual assault, tobacco control, everything that you can think of under the sun. And previously to that, I was a student member on the Board of Education from Lahaina but I've been living on Oahu since
Wow.
1998 in Kāhala for about 6
So you're the
years.
executive director of the Lung Association?
Yeah,
And did you have a successful fundraiser?
we did
that-
the Outstanding Mother Awards.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
Deal of Love.
I was supposed to attend, but wasn't able to attend. I was sorry I missed it. Maybe next year.
I thought I liked you, but
Yeah. Next year I'll attend. Okay, good. And Christian, I guess you already introduced yourself because you've been here for, this is what, your second or third meeting? Fourth meeting. Oh my God, you're a veteran already. Okay. All right. Well, wonderful. We've got good members and thank you so much for your, conscientiousness and creativity and participation. Have a great summer. The meeting is adjourned.